Welcome to another episode of Inspired Voices. My name is Oliver Riera, and today's guest, we actually started talking, and then we just ended up doing the whole episode that way. So it was a little bit of a different format, but it was such an amazing conversation. I hope you guys enjoy this episode as much as I did. Please give it up for No Sense.
Not be feeling too good.
Yeah.
So our attention to it, or like our antennas, like or our antennae, are not really connected to it. It's like the service is a little off whenever we feel in a certain way, right? But when you do have it, and that service is that, everything's at 100. That bars is like 5 bars, 5G. You getting all of it, and you want to use it while you have it, and not let it go to waste. Because sometimes when you don't have it no more, when it's gone, it's gone. And sometimes you don't get it back. That's true. I don't know if you ever had where you had like a special idea or something that came up into your mind where you created, like you wanted to create something, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah.
And then like when you tried to come back to it, you couldn't come back to it.
Right.
That's
hard, man.
I don't like it, because one time I had it happen to me where I was working on a project. It actually ended up coming out really good. I was working on the project, one of the YouTube videos I did where I was teaching the kids, and I was like, I know what I want to do with it, but I don't know if it's ready right now. But it was the one where I was like at Partnership Elementary.
Yeah. I remember seeing stories of that. Yeah.
I was sitting on this for like a month.
Really?
Right.
After just teaching them.
After teaching them.
Learning how to teach. Trying to figure out what to teach them.
Yeah. And it ended up coming out really good, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically what I wanted to do. But I don't know. It was like I got clouded at some point. My the signal was just not there. So I was like, I kept telling Peter, which is like my crewmate, we're like partners in crime when it comes to like everything right now. So I was like, man, I'm gonna come up with this video. It's gonna be cool. It's just I gotta get to it, whenever it's ready. And you know what? It's many things that can mess up that signal, right?
Yeah.
Different things in life. Certain things might be hitting you that just, it kind of redirects your mind and the way you're thinking about things. And that's where it's at. So it's like when you do have that, when you have that energy, when you get that energy from source, that idea, it's like, get on it. Create. He was like, create till you might have to stay a wee hours in the morning, create. Sometimes you have to make these sacrifices for the things that you love and the things that you enjoy, because what I feel like source is when it comes in, it's love. It's like abundance. It's like love energy, because you get hyper focused on the things that you enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the highest vibration. And you can't just receive that at any time.
I think people with ADHD have a high sense of awareness of that hyper focus.
Right. Yes. They I heard that, well, through my studies, I heard that like, that's like one of the main things. It can get hyper focused all the time. And I don't think I have it. I haven't, went to get checked out or anything, but I know I have the power to tap into it anytime I want.
See, I have it, but it can be very overwhelming as well.
Okay.
Like, especially like if you are the type of person that is, not to boast or anything like that, but they're good at different things in life. Right. And you just have to decide what you want to do, because you're good at so many different things. That can be overwhelming. Right. It's like, this and that, I don't know, and then you just sit for it. And that's the hard part for sure.
Yes. I feel like I have my times, but I have a moment where I'm able to say, this is what I'm going to focus on today. You got me? I have that ability. I've had it for a while, but I know I have the ability to be like, this is today. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to allow myself, well, I will allow myself to get to the next thing. Like today, this morning was plants. Like it's always plants in the morning, and my nutrition and the sunlight I'm getting. I try to wake up with the sunlight all the time so I can receive all of that while it's early. Therefore, now where I'm at right now, I'm happy. I'm good. I have the good energy. The serotonin hit, the dopamine hit. It feels really good. But that's morning, and I don't want to change that. So I keep that in that routine. I keep that in my habits, my paradigm. That's it, right? And then I jump to the next thing. I still need to edit a video from this weekend that I did. I had taught this girl how to break a little bit.
Yeah.
She's really big known. Her name is BB Jess. She's known like on Twitter and on Twitch and stuff like that. A lot of people call her the queen, the Twitch queen. But she's really awesome. And I kind of didn't expect her to be so like open and welcome to like learn, but she was, and it was so awesome. And I love the energy. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make this edit a good edit. I'm gonna take some time with it, and I'm gonna make sure I pace it out and everything really well. But I also know that I still have times that I have to get to certain things. I had to get here, right? After this, I like host like little small 15-minute, 10-minute meditation sessions in my Discord. I'm going to get to that.
Nice.
You know, then I got to stream a little bit later on. So I got to get ready for that. And I don't necessarily look at it as, this is how I used to look at it, like I had to like set energy for this, or I had to be it a certain way. If I start my morning off the way that I really enjoy, like with my plants and everything, I'm getting all the energy I need right there to be able to boop, 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 portion out into different areas, or just simply enjoy what I'm doing. And I don't have to worry about, I don't have to think as hard about this. But also at the same time, it's all in its place. It's all where it needs to be. So I don't have to focus on, like, I don't have to be like, oh, it's all scrambled around. It's like, oh, this is right here. This is right here.
But don't you find yourself sometimes things are maybe out of place? And it kind of throws off your
Not anymore.
energy?
It's crazy. So I've gained control, but I also... So I had to learn how... So some people used to call me a hippie because I was just so free. And I was like, whatever happens is whatever happens. But I had to also find out that I had to find purpose in that. So I had to break that down, that freedom, then chop it and be like, okay, purpose is found within this. We have to find purpose within this. So when I found the purpose within it, that's when I became able to put structure into it. So though...
Can you give me an example of purpose?
So purpose, like, why am I doing it? What is my sense of why within it?
That's a very hard question.
It
can be. It
is. It can. And I found it easy because one of my main reasons is to find joy within it.
Yeah.
I like most of the things I do it to find joy within it.
Yeah. I mean, when you boil it down to its core, it's joy, happiness, right?
And happiness, right? And if I can always go to that, I'm good. If it's something that's outside of that, because that stuff is found within.
Right.
When it's found without, like, to gain someone's attention, no, that's not serving my purpose. You know, to make that person smile, cool. Because when that person smiles, it then reflects back to me because I'm already smiling within, you know? So it was those breakdowns, right? And I find my sense of happiness within that, but also I see growth within it. Because then I said, I made a post on my Instagram story, and it said, be good and do good. And that's all. Right there. So when I be good and do good, and I share that with different people, because I met so many people this past weekend. I do that. One thing is, you never know how that may affect those people because you don't know how other people are treating them. And that's cool. That's not a part of me. But I know that if I'm being good to them, at the end of the day, it's going to, one, make them feel good, but also it's going to come back around at some point. Yeah,
and like you said, like you want to make that video even better with that girl, right?
Right.
And so, or woman. But at the same time, that's just brings you, it makes you want to work even more to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Because that's like the do good part, right?
Yeah.
So I already been good. I've been good. Now I was already being good with the act. Now it's time to do good with, the creation. You got me? And I mean, everything is a creation. Everybody is creators. And that's just, I don't know, it's so much growth. It's so much joy, man. I love growing. So I'm constantly trying to water myself in some way, water your root, and be able to share at the highest, at the peak, man.
Yeah. You remind me a lot about, we all have those up and downs, right? And stuff like that. And like your energy reminds me when I first got into like the law of attraction and the universe and all that stuff. Yes. And like, it's just like, nothing can stop me and stuff like that. And then like, now that I've experienced a lot of highs and a lot of lows, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that feeling. But is it that I lost that feeling, or is it that maybe I need to find, I guess, another purpose in life to get that feeling back. You know what I mean?
I feel that. I think one thing is, for me, is knowing that every experience is different, and not putting it all into like, oh, I saw that before, rather than, because like, even though you may seen it before, it's not the same.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Because everyone grows, right?
Different. You know what I'm saying? Every day of life is different. And that's what I hold on to. Because because I had my moments where everything was dull. I didn't really get happy for stuff. I didn't show excitement until the day of, or until it happens, because I felt like when I showed excitement, I would overexhaust myself. I would get tired, right? And then it was times where it didn't lead up to what I expected.
Right. Yeah.
So I had to then learn that I had to shift my paradigm to understanding that every day is different, and every experience is a new experience. Even though it might relate or be familiar, it's brand new. I'm happy right now. Like, I'm telling you, like, that brings that, like, it really brings that excitement every time. It's like, this is new.
Yeah.
I never experienced it. I might experience something that was close to it, but this is brand new.
Yeah.
And if you can bring that into your reality somehow, that will definitely take it to the next level. I promise. Yeah. I promise, man. Yeah. I've had my moments where I'm like stoic, like super stoic, and I do have that stoic side of me still, but I've learned how to use it. I would say I have superpowers. I always say it. I always tell people, like, one of my main superpowers is breaking. I can talk through my breaking, through my dance. Yeah. I can have a whole conversation with you right here in this one spot, dancing and not say a word. And you'd be like, and I'm like,
there's a story there.
You know, like, you see it. You see it. This is everything right here. And through that superpower right there, like, I was able to have conversations this weekend. I was able to inspire people. I was able to have people come up to me, attract people to me, and say, hey, you was my favorite dancer out there. Keep doing what you do. You know, hey, I want to keep up with you. What's your Instagram? You know, like, stuff like that. And me, one of my major things is like asking people their name. I'm like, hey, what is your name? Because one thing is, I actually got to work on this. It's like, I'm not good with names, but I've been trying to keep up with people's names. I've been trying to actually shift that to my paradigm, but also it's like me being able to receive something from them. So I gave them something. They gave me something. I just want to make sure I remember you for what you gave me.
And I've been trying to actually not say that I'm not good with names, because that kind of like sets a pattern, right?
And you're right. I appreciate that right there. That's like a reminder, man.
I say that I'm getting better at trying to remember.
Yes, 100%. Because I'm working on it too, man. It's a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
They're saying it like, it's like it just went straight through. I'm like, okay, wait. But I remember certain things. This is how I remember, right? I've been remembering through the interaction, that experience, that moment.
Yeah, attaching that to the name.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, oh, I met this guy named Cannabos. He had gave me a pen. I had inspired him to get out there and dance in one of the circles. He said he never had a chance to do that, or he haven't did that since middle school. Oh, wow. He was like, it was an amazing experience. He's like, yo, thank you so much. That reminded me of him. You know, so now I know his name. You know what I'm saying? It was another guy named Gabe that I met. He was one of the first dancers to dance on the floor when we was out there. And he came up to me and was like, man, you're so dope. And I wasn't a part of it at that time. I was just watching. Right. And I came out and just got down a little bit. He's like, yo, you're so dope. And I was like, okay, now I'm attaching his name to that. Like, I'm remembering these people. And one thing people really feel good about at the end of the day is being remembered.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you could remember their name.
Right.
Like days later or something like that. Like, whoa, you remember?
Because I remember how it hit me this past weekend. Right. Some people remember my name from the Hot Pocket contest, of which we lost by 5 votes.
5 votes? Dude. Damn.
We coming back. Yeah. All right, we coming back for it. Yeah. But it was like, no sense. I was like, how you know me? And I forgot that they was there at the place as well, and they remember where I fell and cut my face. Right. And they was helping me. They was helping me out, and they made sure I was good. And one of the ladies, Jen, she was like, "You're here! I'm so excited!" She was one of the main ladies. I was bleeding super bad, and she was able to help me out and stuff like that.
Probably had a smile on your face.
I was sitting there. I was like, "Look," I was like, "I'm okay. Yeah. I'm all right." They was like, "How many fingers?" 5. You know, but it was a good time, and it was great to be remembered, you know, on that level, and to just be able to share so much great energy, and people just like living in the moment. You know, it was beautiful. But I come back to the superpowers of like, that's one of my superpowers. You know what I'm saying? Being able to share that energy at that moment. I created this. I created that superpower. I didn't let nobody just lend that to me. And a lot of these powers that we get we become like the chosen for those. You know, there's certain things that you get is chosen through the source because you decide on what you're going to hold on to. You get these ideas, but you decide on which one you're going to hold on to.
Yeah, and especially what you do, like breakdancing and stuff like that, like you embody that feeling, which like I kind of compare it to fighting. Because like when you're fighting, you have to commit. And when you're committing everything you have.
100%.
And same thing with breakdancing. And that sets the tone to confidence, to getting yourself out there and not worrying about what people think and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
It's that loop of confidence and competence. So the competence of actually putting into action, building up the confidence, and then it comes back around to the competence, you know, and it's just an ongoing cycle that just becomes really, really big. Yeah. And you can also add in there compensation. So it's like, I think it's competence. I think it might be something else.
I'm not good with words.
I'll be messing up. But it's like, depending on where you are in your lane, competence, confidence, competence, or competence. So it's like you make money off of that. And then it comes back around because even that money part makes you feel even better about what you do. And how you move and what you know. And
it's
then,
a little bit of a validation.
Yeah, and then that comes back to your confidence. It builds that up, you know. Yeah. And I always say you have to be careful with how you use your confidence, but also be aware because, you know, the ego tends to kind of take over at times.
Yeah, that's true.
But I constantly, I've always been a humble person all my life, and even that's ego saying that I'm a humble person. But me being aware allows me to have a bit more control than anything. Yeah. So me being aware that saying that I have confidence, coming back to ego, comes back to me being aware. And that's like, I can see all three of these things. I can see these different things and that superpower.
Right. Yeah. Especially the self-awareness part.
Yes.
I mean, it comes down to, what was I going to say? I remember the confidence, as far as confidence goes, like sometimes I would go to the gym and I'd just be like a little insecure about things or like people are looking at me and stuff like that. And so what I would do is I would just hit the bags. And like when I hit the bags, it's like bombs going off. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. It's got to shake it out of my body. Yeah. That's kind of what it is. It's shaking it out of your body and stuff like that.
That's low key a vibration too.
Yeah,
like it can vibrate your body, and this just kind of clears that sense of of what you thought out. And it's no longer there anymore.
Exactly. And then like when I was 24, I changed my life, and so like went from completely negative to trying to live a positive lifestyle. And so one of the things that I had to learn, communication was always a terrible thing for me. Yeah. Something that I had to learn. And so I would go out with my friend, and he was in a band and perform my shows, and I would just go around talking to people and stuff like that to practice. And I got to a point where I find myself having to cross the line from confidence to ego, and what is it? When you're overly confident, you're
arrogant,
and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, and I was lucky enough to have a friend there to tone it down a bit.
Right.
Okay, there we go. There's the line. You know what I mean? So. That it's just finding that balance, I guess you could say.
Yes, I think it's really cool that you said you had your friend come around and kind of say something about it. I believe having friends that are real like that are really cool, but also being real with your friends as well. Yeah. Because that bounce back of energy allows each other to kind of like get to that destination that we're looking forward to getting to. Because you wouldn't just have that friend for no reason. I feel like we don't have friends for no reason.
Yeah, of course.
It's always something with it. Not like we need something from them, but in a way we do need something from them. We looking for that safeguard, that we looking for the realness, and for me right now, I've been looking for just people that are, they just want it. They want what they want out of this life. And if I can help support in some way and we can bounce off that energy, the conversations and share, that's the power of just getting to that next level. Sure, yeah. You never know what it takes, but I believe that's what we need from our friends, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Yeah. And back to where you said you cleared that the energy out, that talk. A lot of that is self-talk.
It is.
A lot of it is self-talk.
It's all in my mind. Nobody's looking at me. Nobody gives a fuck what I'm doing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I was told, well, my friend Eli was like, he told me, he was like, people are sleeping on me. He's like, he told me, because we used to kind of go by underdogs back in the day. This was in breaking. He was like, people always sleeping on us. I instantly saw it, and not huge judgment, but I was like, okay, let me kind of explain to him how I gotten past this. And I really gotten past it this year. I was like, I'm done sleeping on myself, because that's all that is. You saying people sleeping on you, but that's what you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
I'm done sleeping on myself. I am aiming for everything that I want this year, and I am not going to let myself get to a point where, oh no, I'm not going to do this because of how I think other people are thinking.
Right.
No, that's what the very successful people that are up there, they eliminated that, or they probably never even had it. Somehow we get programmed with this, and it throws us off.
Yeah.
It stops us. It's like it puts us in a box, because we're thinking of what other people may think of what we think about ourselves, or what they think about us. You know what I'm saying? And that just hits us back. So it's like, what you think, what I think, what you think about me. It's like, what? Why are you even creating this formula in your brain?
Right.
I didn't know why I was creating it. Some may say it was like, I wanted sympathy, empathy, wanted like the, get those people to come in and be
understand
like,
me.
Yeah, understand and that's not even needed anymore. It's not. All you have to do is understand yourself and know that what you're going for is what you want. Yeah. And I was like, I left him a message. I said, man, I'm done with that. I was like that years ago, and it got me nowhere.
Well, like how many, like when you say years ago, what are you talking about, like childhood or something? Or?
I mean, breaking. Let's say breaking, because I feel like that's a whole nother life for me, right? My breaking life versus my youth coming up, I was just shy. I was scared. But once breaking came into the picture, I got my superpowers.
When did that happen?
2000. I was always dancing. My parents always danced, everything. Okay. I was dancing. I didn't take it really serious until 2006. Okay. Yeah, so I don't even know. I was like 14, 15, around there. And high school's where I really showed it. I was actually crumping at first. From the movie Rise, it got me into crumping. Yeah. Then I saw You Got Served, and then You Got Served is what really just took it off. And then I ended up joining the dance team and everything there. I was dancing all through high school. When I say I was like the black sheep of the school, like nobody really was breaking. But when they saw me, they was like, oh, that's that breakdancer dude. That's, no sense or whatever. And then I got into wrestling and stuff like that. So all of that stuff started building up the confidence for me to be who I wanted to be. I was, able to talk, able to share, able to just feel good and walk with my head up, rather than looking down all the time, or just like having self, like just thinking about myself as being any lower than anybody else that's around me.
When you got to that point, like, did you find yourself kind of slipping back? Like back and forth kind of thing? Because, like, that's new to you at that point,
It was new to me. But I was telling you, I have a power of like being able to hold on to something really tight. Like I get hyper focused. So since I was hyper focused in it, I don't think I had times where I thought I was any less. Except for when it came to battles, I would overthink those, and I would have to like, really focus in on certain things that I felt like was really cool that I need to showcase and stuff like that. Wrestling, when it went into wrestling, it kind of put me into a sense of like, okay, like I have to be at this ability or this level, because my granddad when I was in wrestling, he was like really focused on sports. He didn't rock with my dancing that much, though he took me to my first 2 dance competitions. He was still like, man, that ain't gonna get you anywhere. But wrestling, he was like really, really hard on me. Like, you gotta lift weights, you gotta run. And I was doing that, but when it came to time to like really put forth the action, I wasn't as good my first year. After that, I got really good. And, it was just kind of all she wrote from there. I was like, just taking it to the next level. I love it. I still love wrestling now. I love watching it. I haven't done it in a while. I originally went to college for that, and then I actually focused in on dance. So I went to UNC Pembroke for like to get on the wrestling team, and then I shifted because I had got a Sprite commercial that ended up getting me a lot of money. Yeah, it was a Sprite. Yeah, I ended up getting a lot of money off of that, and I was like, you know what? I'm focusing on dance. Forget it. And it was kind of in hopes of getting my granddad to believe in the dance, like that dance was something. My mom already believed in, my dad already believed in, but my granddad didn't believe that like it was a
Well, your
place.
parents are dancers, right?
They danced a lot, but they never took it serious. So I'm like that person that, you know, took it to that next level, and they look at me and be like, I'm glad you was able to do that, you know? And I still say my mom can still dance, but she, you know, she still needs to, I guess, she got to believe it in herself. And I'm like, you can still do it if you want. Like, I can teach you, you know. And
I saw a picture recently of your mom. Isn't she like fit too?
Yes. Yeah. Well, she used to be a little bit more fit. She gotten really just kind of stuck in work. So work kind of like got her out of her, like, you know,
but your family was pretty much always just like a kind of fit family.
Yes.
Staying active. And
everybody, yes. Big into gyms and stuff like that. Even my little brother at this point. But for the most part right now, it's just been family business, you know, all the way until the end. But I love the family business, but I want them to also know, and my little brother's working on it, so it's like showing that we have other things that we love as well. You know, and I understand, like, not everybody get a chance to have the you know, come into a family business. And I do plan on, you know, continuing to push it, but in order for me to be happy, I have to do the things that I love and what really, you know, push me to that next level. So yeah,
absolutely.
And we segue all the way over here. I know we went a distance from where we were, because it started from what? It started from I was trying to get back to like the whole, you know, that vibration of you like hitting the bag and stuff like that. But I want to jump back to that. So I feel like that's huge, of clearing your system so that you can receive. Yeah, you got me. Yeah, that's where it's at.
Like even this morning, I was I felt like off. Like little things were like getting at me and stuff like that. Yeah. So I actually had to do a hypnosis before we met and stuff like that, just to clear my head.
That's where it's at. Yeah. Whatever you have to do, whatever you feel is there, clear it, jump back into it, because you're going to receive after that. After you clear yourself, you're going to receive. So that, like you said with the punching bag, you had to clear yourself. I actually tend to go skate sometimes just to clear myself, or if I'm inspired to skate and I want to just work on some new moves, I do it. Yeah. But a lot of times after I kind of like want to decompress, that's one of my major things is to skate. I go on and just throw on my headphones and skate, and then after that I receive more energy. You know, this may be from just smiling and talking to people while I'm skating. You know, some people will smile at me. I'm like, ooh, you know, that feel good. That was like, it's crazy, but it's like. Well, let me stop saying crazy. I always say it's crazy. It's different from our regular paradigm and what we've been taught, or from my regular paradigm. So when I do experience these moments, like just from interaction and talking to other humans, it's beautiful. Yeah, and it's just it hits me a little bit more, and those are like the small things that end up weighing more later for me.
Yeah. You know what I like is just like when you have that interaction with a stranger or a clerk behind the counter, and you guys are just laughing it up and stuff like that. Those are special moments.
Yes, I actually have some that I will go back into their line again just because we had good conversations. Like, I'm about to go back to this person again. Yeah. And then I also have those moments, because this is where the awareness kicks in. I'm like, okay, I've been doing this a lot. I'm getting used to this. Let's try this. I'm going to go to somebody else that I never experienced before.
Oh yeah, see, I did that too.
It's a dope thing.
When I was trying to learn how to communicate with people and stuff like that, before I would go out to socialize with my friends, I would go to like the grocery store and just kind of socialize, like get a practice in and socialize with other people, just to get the jitters out and stuff like that. And then I would do great.
Just try different things, and I think that's the big shift right there. They say, in order sometimes to grow, right, you have to put yourself in new environments. Yeah. Boom, put yourself in a new environment. You know, and I always say this, it's like one of my big experiences and big switch ups and growth was when I learned to park in a different parking spot than I was normally parking in. I think I told you about it before. We had a conversation, but it was like my beginning of like my big transformation of like learning how to shift my paradigm. After reading a book called "Who Are You Really and What Do You Want?" Something in the book was like, you have to do different things. You have to put yourself in different environments. And this was it was like a small adjustment, but it opened up my mind so much. And it was simply, I have a parking spot right in the front of my apartment complex, like my apartment door. Yeah. Like it's the same one. Nobody parks in because we, everybody, the neighbors pretty much know where we park at.
Right.
I decided to park on like the opposite side. After that, I was like, what? I actually can do different things. Like I don't have to do the same thing all the time.
You probably fucked up somebody else's parking spot.
it could have, but it was like a visitor spot. So it was just different. And after that, I was like, okay, let's put this on to different things. Let's try cooking different things. Let's try getting different packs of stuff, or let's try to walk a different route. Let's try driving different routes. Let's explore. And I learned that this is what opens the mind.
Yeah.
And now I'm constantly learning and experiencing new experiences. So it's not the same, and it's constantly leaving me open to new. It's the uncertainty, like we were saying before. The uncertainty is what's bringing these new ideas. So it's actually infinite, because you're not going to always do the same thing. Every day is a new experience, like I said, right? So no matter what, it's the infinite possibility of trying something new. Even if I take the same route, come back here tomorrow, right? The same car is not going to be behind me that was behind me yesterday.
Right.
I mean, like it was a car behind me, and then I had to understand that this was actually going this way, and I needed to turn around to park,
Right.
So it was like, that's not going to happen the same way, because I have awareness of it now, but also it's not going to be at the same time. It's not, the sun's not going to be in the same exact spot.
It's a brand new day.
You know what I mean? The same ant probably not going to be crawling. That's even microscopic. Like, you don't know. Everything is different.
Yeah.
In this life experience, like, doesn't that just like, I don't know, does that hit you in a certain way?
Oh, for sure, man.
It's crazy. And that's what I love to explain to people. And I'm like, some people, like, you ever talk to somebody, they be like, same old, like, how you do?
Yeah.
It messes with me now a little bit. And I'm trying not to let it bother me as much, but I do try to help, and I will give that example.
I'm curious about that same old, because if say you're breakdancing, you're just growing in breakdancing, right? Same old. I'm still breakdancing. I'm trying to correlate, like, I guess it's not the same, but you're doing the same thing.
You are,
right?
But it's not the same. It's a whole new day.
Yeah.
That alone, it's a whole new day. If you got the same rituals, you eat the same food.
Right.
You steady looking at the ground. Even the ground is going to change.
Yeah.
As long as you're able to see and look forward and see everything that's around you, nothing's ever the same. Ever.
Do you ever find yourself forgetting any kind of rituals or any little things, meditations?
Yeah, I fall off. I fall off sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I fall off, especially when the hyper focus I fall off because of that. I will get hyper focused into something, and I'm like, I won't really notice till a little bit. Like it might be a couple of hours in, or just a day or two, and I'm like, oh wait, I've been hyper focused on this, and I haven't gave myself time to really get back into what really keeps me where I am right now.
Yeah.
And though in those moments, that's when the awareness just clicks back in. I do find myself, one of my rituals is being able to share stories on Instagram, but the positive words. Because though it's reaching the world, I'm talking to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking to myself.
It's just a journal on your
Yeah. So it's just a journal. And I already talk to myself like that, but the feeling and the thought of believing that it helps somebody else by sharing my certain words that I share, that gives me energy. Yeah. And that keeps me aligned the way it is. Now, if that was ever to leave, I'm not super attached to it to that point. I don't have to. There's always different routes. I can simply just talk to people and tell them like, hey, I got a special word for you today. Right. I used to do that. So during COVID, the peak of COVID, we was going into different banks and we had to do wipe downs and stuff like that. The different bankers in there began to love me. I began to love them, just from being around. It's like they see me at every hour or whatever. It was like I came through like 2 times. So I came in once in the morning and once in the afternoon, just made sure stuff was wiped down. And I would come in with a message. I was like, hey, today's message is to set your high intentions, because today is going to be, or this week is going to be your best week. Right. Or I say something like, make sure you water your root, because coming back to yourself is the only way that you'll be able to give to your highest, to everyone else. Because a lot of times we forget that. It's like, if you don't work on yourself, then how are you going to help anybody else? You're on E. What's up? So
when you're hyper focused, and then you forget about the other things that you need to do, you kind of stop that and then concentrate on yourself and the meditation and all that stuff. That's interesting, because I find myself, I don't know if it's my ADHD or something like that, but like when I'm hyper focused, it's like I don't want to stop. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I want to ride that roller coaster, stuff like that. But I know I need to do this, but I really want to do this, the kind of thing. So you never find yourself like kind of, I'll do it later, you know what I mean? kind of thing.
Discipline has been big. I'm actually huge on discipline.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, discipline. You must discipline yourself if you want to achieve.
Is there something that you do to build that?
Yes. I'm constantly doing things that might not be the thing that I like, or that I told myself that I didn't like. I didn't like watermelons at one point, right? I didn't like no type of melons. A month ago, 2 months ago, I did a 7-day melon cleanse. I like watermelons. I like cantaloupe now. Like, I buy it, For one, is knowing what good it does for the body, because it's the water dense and the different things that it help the body, and it's good sugar, and that it just gives you a lot of good energy and everything, and it cleans out your system. So like today, I think I'm gonna just eat a watermelon today. I had blueberries and banana with some peanut butter and some and I throw some sea moss in there.
Nice.
So I mix it all up, and it's just like really good. Like, that's why I got the energy I have now. I could probably just go do backflips and all that through the grass. Yeah, but
literally,
I will be going and just eating that watermelon. For one, I actually need to clear out my system from this past weekend, eating all the foods and stuff like that. But it's just, it has a special place in my heart now.
I didn't know watermelon do that.
Yeah. So watermelon and cantaloupe is naturally cleanse your body. It goes through your intestines and flush out that old food that's been sitting there. A lot of times the old food just kind of sits and, it's pretty bad based off of the things that you eat, because of the breakdown within the stomach. So when it breaks down through the stomach and it isn't able to break down like as clean as it does, it just gets caught up in your intestines. Right. Because think about it. We're sitting right here, right? The food that I just ate probably hasn't been able to make its way all through my intestines right now. When you stand up and move your spine, it's then able to go and move and stuff like that. I don't know if you ever had where if I start dancing sometimes in the morning, all that food just kind of just like makes its way through, and it's like, okay, it's time to go. Or if I eat and then dance, it's already time to use the bathroom because it's already pushing through. But what happens is in the stomach, the breakdown of the watermelon and all of that stuff, it creates like, the compounds, different chemicals that just kind of like helps flush through it a lot faster. And plus it's good with your microbiome, man. Like like that's fruit. It came from the earth. And earth has some type of bacteria to it no matter what. Yeah. Right? So the bacteria in your body that's made up, that microbiomes, like all of that, like all your microbes, they enjoy that. They're like, yo, let's go. Oh, my bad. They're like, let's go. It's a party. You know what I'm saying? And they're like just going through and flushing everything out. You know, and they're doing what they need to do. So they able to do their job at their peak through that, And I've been actually working on eating a lot of like raw foods and stuff like that. And that's also a discipline. I'm used to things that I love. I used to have a thing for like honey buns, and I still do. I'm not gonna lie. I like hot chips, and it has a lot of red 40 in it, and a lot of different stuff that's not good for me. Right. I have to work on that. Those disciplines like that, right? I've been took soda out, so that's been a discipline going. I used to love Sprite. I used to have Sprite all the time. I substitute that for like drinking kombucha like once or twice a week.
I used to make my own.
Yeah, so like that fermented tea, like that fermentation of that, it's like I'm good. But I don't have to have that all the time either. Right. Because it can kind of burn up some stuff in there as well if you eat it or drink it too much. And it's just constantly doing things that in my head was either something that I didn't like or that I see as difficult. Gotcha. I love a challenge.
So would you recommend to someone that has with discipline to just start off small.
Yeah, start off small. Yeah. Try something that you didn't like, and
would you recommend it like first thing in the morning, like maybe waking up at a certain time every day or something like that?
Yes, that's one of the best ones, and it was tough for me. So I'm saying from my reality and my process, that's one of the toughest ones. So like one of my main things is waking up at 7, waking up with the sun. The sun kind of comes up around 6:30, 7 right now. So like I try to get up with the sun, and I'm making sure I'm getting straight to the plants, so that's a part of helping me with my discipline. So it's like I'm getting active right after that. And they say that your brain is the most alert around this time. You got me? Some people went as far as to do the ice baths.
Yeah.
I do cold showers in the morning. Right now it's like at least a minute. Right. Boom. I'm ready. I'm alert. I'm ready to get straight to it. And that was another discipline that just kind of like got me to the point where I'm able to do what I need to do. It's what you need to do. It's not what anybody else need to do. It's what you need to do.
Yeah.
And you got to think about it. This discipline is helping me. It's short-term pain, long-term gain.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned from wrestling. One of my coaches, short-term pain, long-term gain. And I see it. I'm seeing it as it's happening. You might not see it all the time, but it's going to happen. And I feel like those are blessings at the end of the day. Because, the small things that we do now lead to the bigger things, which is crazy. Check this out. So, and it's kind of like, off a little bit, sure. But Twitter, I got posted in one of the dream hack pictures, and it was just like no sense, tagged in it, and it was me streaming or whatever. Cool picture. I was like, I was just playing the game and I was just smiling. I have a big smile.
I saw that. Yeah, you put recent, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this guy named Coleman, I was playing a game called The Outlast Trials, which is a crazy game, scary, horror game, right? We didn't know that we was both streamers. I didn't know he was streaming. Evidently, he was streaming too when I was playing, and I was streaming and everything. And I took him through the game, and I helped him get and reach everything that you need to reach. What's crazy is when I'm a gamer, I'm a little bit different. I don't always like help people out all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I only got a little bit of time to be on this game. I want to make sure I get with the best of the best. Yeah. But he was like a lower rank, and I was like, hey man, I'm willing to help you out. Let's go through these levels, and we're going to get whatever teams we can get. Good conversation, laughing and all that stuff. We didn't know we were streamers. We didn't know anything about it. This weekend on Twitter, he ended up seeing that I was there. Somehow, I think he just ended up clicking on it and seeing like who I was. Follow me and everything. He's like, wait. He's like, yo, that's no sense. I was playing Outlast Trials with him. He's a beast. And I was like, wait, Cole, that's Cole. That was the guy I was playing with. He's like a staff of an esports team at his college and everything. And he goes by like Loafman or something like that. And he has his whole following and stuff like that and knows all the people that I was around and stuff like that at DreamHack. I'm like, what? But it all came from me helping him and share my energy with him. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I went outside of my normal, like, I guess, habits. And I went into a discipline within myself to help somebody, like outside of my habits of like, I normally help people, but it was outside of my habits of like, when it comes to gaming, like I'd like to make sure I'm like with high ranks. He wasn't a high rank, and I would decide to be like, okay, let me help this guy right here.
What is it? What is it about him that made you switch that?
Honestly, I just go by energy. Yeah, he was talking on the mic. Not many people talk on the mic on certain games. So he was talking on the mic, and he was just like, yo, like, are y'all down to help me with this? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And that's what kind of really pushed that. And it was cool to actually find, because he didn't know nothing about me. He actually ended up finding me then on Twitter later on through another event that ended up being, big in my reality. Right. And he was actually saying that he wanted to go. He didn't get a chance to go. So it was like really cool, just kind of like to see everything come back around full circle from the week prior. Through interaction of gaming. And people always be like, gaming should not be this and gaming should not be that. I'm like, listen, gaming has helped so much. It helps so many people in so many ways. Right. And I do think it is based off the way that you use it. It is based off the way you use it. You can't allow it. I can't say you can't, because you can do anything you want, but not allowing it to like take you away from what reality is, being outside in real life, because that is going to be the true energy no matter what. But gaming has been a good space, a good oasis for everybody to like just create and also just see different realities.
Yeah.
Because these are like gaming is realities that other creators have created for people to go in and explore. So in some sense, you're actually in someone else's mind.
Right.
You got me?
Yeah.
And when you break it down and go into that understanding, that's amazing. You actually can virtually be in somebody else's mind.
Yeah.
And see what they're seeing and exploring in their creation.
Yeah. Soon it's gonna be literally in your mind.
Yeah, soon. Soon it's gonna be like where you can just
that's what you were thinking.
Right. And we'll be able to like just show it, like create it right here, in person. So it's so many different ways. Already you can do that with the VR headsets.
Right.
Yeah. So VR headsets, we could be right here talking, but I could be like, hey, yeah, so this is going on right here, and then have it somehow coming up on the screen as well for everybody to see. So so many different ways, but gaming in general from the last decade, has been like that, so it's been amazing. And I love growing with it as much as I can. I'm nowhere close to a peak when it comes to that in gaming, nor in life. Because I believe that the peak is never, like, it's no peak.
It's infinite, right?
It's infinite, man. You can always keep on striving no matter what, and through different avenues.
Do you have a goal with gaming?
I have a goal of connecting with people as much as possible. And my goal was kind of like universal with my life. And I had to learn how to bring all these together. So like with gaming, with dancing, with life, because these worlds are different. You got me? Like, though life is everything, these worlds can be different. And I had to actually end up finding out this with breaking in life. My breaking life was different from my regular life. And I grew faster in my breaking life than in my regular life. So I matured faster in it. And I was like, how did I mature so fast in this and then bring it into my regular life? And one of the major things was...
Are you talking about the energy?
Eye twitch. It was crazy. I
was thinking.
Yeah, I was like, my eye twitch too sometimes. What you say again?
No, I was thinking like, what about it was not transferring?
It was the maturing of understanding that it's not all about winning, and it's about the process.
Right.
I didn't gain that in life until like these past couple of years, and I'm like, how did that work? My dancer life, that no sense in dance, was just a different being.
Right.
I had to bring them together. So now what people are seeing is no sense all infused as one. I didn't have it. Everything was separated.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because ever since I've known you, I've always felt like that energy from you.
But it didn't happen to these past 3 years.
Right.
You met me through sense though.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So that was the mature person.
That's true. Yeah.
Now you're meeting life as well within me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's crazy, right? Bro, it's crazy. It's like these breakdowns, and that's what I want to be able to do basically with everything that I do. It's like break down and let people understand that it's a little bit deeper. And it doesn't have to always be deep, but it's a little bit deeper. If you start digging a little bit, you're going to actually see these roots. Yeah. And when you see these roots, you will be inspired.
Oh, I think that connects over here. That connects over there.
Let's get ready to dig some more. Check this out. So trees. Trees are the most amazing creatures like on this planet.
I consider them like my ancestors.
100%. And they're all connected.
Yeah.
Through the roots of the ground. They're literally like they're holding each other like this.
Yeah.
In the ground, right? We can do that too. Through here. So you know how the nerves and stuff like through the brain is? We actually have antennae, which is our hair. But it even goes past that. It actually is connected a little bit deeper, and we don't see it.
Right.
So right now we're actually connected. We're like connected up here. Boom, right there. We're talking to each other. We're sharing our energy.
Light right there.
Through the light. The light is catching us too, right? And we're actually leaning more into the light than anything. Just like the trees do when they feel the light, they see the light. Any type of plant, when it's light, they're gravitating towards it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We got a good source of light. We got light right here, light right here, light right here. So all the light is kind of just balancing out pretty well. But going back to the trees have so much to say. They're talking. We just gotta sit and listen. We gotta watch. Yeah. And you can learn so much. I learned stillness from trees.
Yeah.
I learned that I don't have to control everything that's around me. Mm-hmm. I learned that there's strength in silence. Mm-hmm. I've learned, like, I can keep on going, but the trees have gave me this knowledge, and I'm constantly, and I'm grateful. I'm eternally grateful to be able to see it in this way, and to understand it in this way, because I know I'm different. I know, bro. I know I'm different. You know, I constantly see it every day, and it's not like I'm trying to separate myself, but it's like you when you become aware, you can't necessarily throw anything or change anything. It's like this, and is
that awareness is growing too.
Yes,
just amplifies everything every
day. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, as I learn, I'm sharing. Mm-hmm. As I learn, I'm I'm gonna go on and run with that. I'm caring, but overall, it's like I'm constantly giving as much as I can with my different experiences. And that's what I want to do with gaming, with life, with dance, you know, from giving the positive message, from sharing a smile with someone, from just being active in any way. One of the major things is like that I learned from trees is like, though, like this could be my perception, as I believe that they're having conversation all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Why, as people, we walk around and we look past each other as if we can't say anything to each other?
Yeah, I know, right?
it gets me, man.
Right.
But I chose, with my power, to talk. Mm-hmm. Somebody passed me, hey, how y'all doing today? Y'all good? You know what I'm saying? They're laughing about something. Hey, man, I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. You know, mm-hmm. different things like that. If I'm running my laps at the around my lake or whatever, at the park or whatever, I know I'm on my last lap, and I've seen these people that ran around the whole time. I'm like, yo, enjoy the rest of y'all day. I'm out. They don't know me,
right?
But it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Like that little moments, that kind
those moments right there, and that's what I want to give back.
Yeah,
you know, I want to be able to share that. I want more people to be able to talk to other people,
right? You
know, and it took me a while to get to where I am. 30, ready to be 31, mm-hmm. but I do believe that I am at a very, very high point in my life.
Yeah, that
I received really early, mm-hmm. and I'm grateful, and I'm not going to let it go to waste.
Right.
I can't. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing through every action, every activity, is I'm sharing that energy
through discipline.
Yeah. I had to, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
You know, it's a crazy moment where, you know, I had to find out that the discipline was good, you mm-hmm. know. Because sometimes we get to a point where we feel like we're suffering through it. It's like, oh, I'm suffering. I can't do this no more.
This sucks. Yeah, God damn it.
Oh, my back. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no, I already learned that at an early time. I was already given the message that short-term pain, long-term gain.
Yeah.
So I have to remember that. You know, if you believe it, you can achieve it. So I believe that whatever I'm doing right now, in some way, in some sense, I will be able to get past it.
Do you remember that when you're about to do something that you're not really supposed to, or maybe that you have to do? Like, oh, I just want that dopamine hit right now, instead of learning that long-term goal.
It's something to really like kind of come back to. Mm. And one thing that really hits me with that is cold showers. Yeah, I have to like cold showers would be my good, like, boom, just like, get that out of your system. You don't need to do that, you know. Yeah. But because I'm pretty sure everybody, you know, has some sense of something that they have to do for dopamine, that they want to do, and they just can't. It's a vice, mm-hmm. you know, something that's holding on to them. And I have that with myself. I have to work on it daily, you know, and I get back to it, and I remember like all that discipline that I worked on is what has really got me to where I am right now.
Yeah,
you know, and I choose to be focused on this because I want growth. I want to be able to continue to inspire, because if not, this is a daily task. Man, this is daily. And I feel like it's healing. You got me? Because I didn't really tell you about that. So I have these 3 things. It's inspire, motivate, and heal. And that healing being the last one, because healing is daily.
Yeah, that's what's going to push you to more growth and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, that, like, when I changed my life at 24, like, I had to break generational curses, mm-hmm. and learn all these, healing all my traumas and stuff like that. That shit's hard, man.
It is.
And it's a roller coaster. You get high, yeah, I'm good. And then low, and it's like, oh, that trauma's kicking in. And then you got to, heal that.
Right. So. And healing can be broken down into many things, such as eating.
Yeah.
You got to, like, you drinking water. That's healing. You're replenishing certain things in your body. You're eating to replenish and give yourself energy. That's borrowed energy as well, too, especially if you eat in the right way. You're eating from the earth. You're eating, like, the fresh foods, fresh fruit and stuff like that. That's healing. You know what I'm saying? You're borrowing this healing from Mother Nature, from energy, from the universe. You know what I'm saying? And it's constantly healing. Brushing your teeth, healing. Washing your face, healing. You're actually washing off the skin cells. Our skin is constantly rejuvenating over and over. We're healing 24/7. We're healing right now as we speak. Every breath is healing. So we have to remember that. But that's where it goes, where I don't want somebody that overthinks to really get caught up in that, but I want them to just be aware, because awareness is what creates freedom.
Yeah.
It's the foundation to freedom. You want to be free? You want to do what you want? Be aware.
Yeah.
Learn. Take time to learn today. And that's really the major key that comes from what I do as a human on this earth. And
you got to be okay with your pace as well. Like,
pacing is huge.
Everyone's pace is different. Like, your pace is very fast right now. You know what I mean? Like, my pace is a lot different than that.
Right.
And so, like, but you got to be okay with that, and you got to respect it.
Also, so that's your perception of my pace.
Yeah, that's true.
Because what if my pace is really slow right now for me?
Right, yeah.
And I actually think mine it has sped up a little bit, but at times I do think my pace is very slow. So some people might look at it as faster. And I'm like,
I get that too.
But you don't know.
Because like people are like, man, you take a lot of risks. You do this, do this. I'm like, I feel like I had a lot of time on my hands.
Right.
Like, I don't see that.
I have a lot of time, man. I have a lot of time, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful. So sometimes I do feel like I'm moving a bit slow. There's so many more things I could be doing. I talked to my therapist. She's like, so how do you feel? Do you feel overwhelmed? I'm like, no. Because I can pick and choose. I can be like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But I created this. And I always tell people I created this life. I created this. There's no doubt. I've aligned myself with what I wanted.
Right.
I tell everybody. I told one of my old friends, I said, I'm going to align myself with this dance. I'm going to build my life around dance. Right? And since then, I have adapted and built my life around all the other things, from my plants to my cooking, because that's my latest thing that I've been really enjoying, because that's another way of creating. My cooking, my, what else? My gaming, all that stuff is just being built around. And you're going to see how these start to go into different directions. But I'm also going to bring them back together no matter what. You're going to see them come back together. So it's going to...
Yeah, sometimes you got to go far apart in order to come back in.
Come back together, right? And then it creates a whole new bubble.
Yeah.
Boom! That's a bubble made. Now it's time for that bubble to start spiking different things. You got me? So just like how humans work, how we all work, we have our own bubbles. You have your own people that you know. I have my people that I know. We might have people that actually know people that's mutual, right? But at the same time, you have your different connections that then can create new connections. Right? Yep. And that's coming together and pulling our connections together. It helps us build in another way as well. So it's like combining those helps us have so many different infinite options, right? Through this service of what we're doing right now, this is a service. It's going to reach different people and help different people in many ways. Yeah. We have to think about that.
Oh, yeah. That's why I love sharing my stories.
Right. And just coming back to where I was saying it may be a lot for certain people. You can't allow yourself, if you really want to, and this is from my perspective, is if you really want to, lost connection. If you really want to get to a point where you just really just doing what you want and you really feel free, you can't allow yourself to get too overwhelmed. Right. To continue to grow in it. Because once you get to the overwhelmedness, it's like, you kind of go into a system shutdown. And this is how our body is our system is made, right? Because there's such thing as glucose spikes. And that's actually the leading cause of our deaths is when we eat too much and all the glucose that we create from that spikes up too high and it kind of like hits our body a certain way, and it shuts us down a little bit. You ever heard of people when they have they eat so much they get the itis? Yeah. They get tired.
Yeah.
That's like a glucose spike.
Yeah, it is.
Right. And we got to think about that. You know, those, because it can be in the sense of food, but it can be in the sense of just activities and doing so much to the point where you're just like, boom, system shut down, you know?
Yeah.
And then it slows down your progress in whatever you're doing. So, like I said, my pace could be a whole different pace for you. It might be a little bit, it might seem like it's fast, but it could be slow to me. And I'm still able to do what I need to do.
Right.
And this leads into this discipline right here, which is really cool, was when I was younger. I actually been living in this area for about 10 years now. So this place right here is 3 years. I actually lived in this apartment. I was in an apartment complex over here. I forgot what it's called. It's right by the bowling alley, just literally right down the road from the bowling alley. I used to have these moments where I got anxiety because I had so much on my plate. That's why now where I am, I'm able to have all of this on my plate and be fine. Like I'm carrying everything, I'm juggling everything around. Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. Catch it all right here. And I'm like, hey, this is what I have to offer. Right. But it's because I had those moments where I thought that I couldn't do it. I had those moments where I felt like it was too much, where I had shows back to back. And I'm like processing in my mind. My mind's like fluttering, like, how am I going to handle this? You know? And I had to step into it. That big step. Boom. After that, I'm walking. Big step. Boom. After that, I'm walking. I'm taking all of these steps into these different avenues, right? And it's all coming from me feeling like I can't do it, but I've already been set. Like the path in this journey has showed me ways to do it. But it's just about me taking a step. After you take so many big steps, they don't be big anymore. They start to not be big. No matter what new experience you take, it's no longer as big because you have the confidence to do it. Yeah. And once you get that confidence to do it, that's when the competence come in, right? And that's when the competence comes back around to the confidence, right? So it keeps on going. And that's where it's at. Though it do get to a point where you no longer as, you know, you have that same feeling, it's still a new experience. Right. And that's what I live for. It's that new experience within all of this extra stuff that I'm doing. Yeah. I walk in with the attitude and with the confidence of me knowing exactly what I'm doing and being able to share that with the other people. Yeah. Because that's how people like end up gravitating to you because they see that. You know, you could have people gravitate to you because you're shy too. And those are going to be other shy people sometimes, right? Or people that have experienced that within themselves that's like, oh, I know what that is. Let me go help. Yeah,
I've done that before,
Right. So that's basically how we all make our connections. But I'd rather make connections or more connections with the people that are at this type of mindset of saying and knowing that they're going to do exactly what they say they're going to do.
You definitely want to, that's where surrounding yourself with the right people, right?
With the right people. Yeah. And that's honestly where this chapter is right now in life. But I'm glad I've been aware enough to see that the come up of where it was. I'm talking about I used to shut down. So much stuff going on. Like that's how it would be. I would just be, it'd be so much, I just go to sleep. Yeah. I was like, maybe it just, you know, I'll gain, and I do think I gained it and got understanding. Like I would go to sleep and I would just like meditate on it. But now I can meditate on it while awake. Now I can meditate on it while walking. You know, so I've gained these other tools that allowed me to get the strength to do everything that I need.
Yeah. Like that's where the split comes in, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna split these, gain new tools, and then come back
to it. Yeah, and share. Yeah, and share every time because it's a service. It's service within those, but it's service when you're able to come back and be able to formulate and share it how it needs to be shared. Yeah, you know, and that's why these past couple of years I've always been saying water your root because if you don't, you're not going to be able to reach these different points. Right. You know, I feel like my main root. I'm a tree. I'm a tree at this point. I am a tree. I'm an oak tree. Call me oak sense, you know, like I am strong. I am grounded. I know my truth. Yeah. And I will continue to share my truth to the end of time.
Speaking of trees, like I had a spiritual healing with DMT and shrooms and stuff like that. And it was with the shaman and stuff like that. And so I've got to go back to visit my ancestors in the Amazon, and we were talking to them, and he was telling me, I don't know if I told you this, but like he was telling me that like the shaman was telling me that, you know, everything is you.
Yes.
The trees, the water, the ground, and then all of a sudden, like a rock formation of stairs popped up in front between us, and then it crumbled to the ground. And he's like, "That's you too. Everything is you. The bad, the good."
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, you know, I still think about that every single day. And when I remember one time I was struggling, I was like, I need answers, and maybe I'll meditate and like, you know, talk to my ancestors and to help me out. And I didn't quite get the answers. I got flashes of certain random things, but I didn't get an answer. But as soon as I got up from that meditation, something told me to go on a walk.
Yes.
And so I went on a walk in a trail that I usually go on, which I have names for certain trees.
Okay.
But I walked on the trail and I realized that, you know, it was them guiding me to the answer.
Yes.
And it was me looking at the distance and seeing cars zooming by, and then looking at the trees and how still they were. Yes. I was like, oh, I've been concentrating on the zooming cars instead of having a balance of also staying still.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That was beautiful. I really appreciate that because I see it that way too a lot. I see it that understanding of when to just stay still. Mm-hmm. I feel like my staying still sometimes is like, it's not even always, sometimes it can come off like a hibernation. Like, you know how like the bears hibernate, but it's like not long periods of time. But sometimes I do have whole months where I'm just chilling, and I'm like, this is charging me up for this next big
and I
thing.
know that too.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I know it.
I know it seems really lazy right now, but it's just me recharging.
Yeah, and that recharge, like this weekend was a blast. You know, the next weekend is about to be another blast. And what's crazy is, I gotta stop saying that crazy thing. I want to stop saying it. I gotta work on it. But where everything is going is, I actually had a gig set up for the crew while I was out of town. So it's like, it's still like making progress in the different avenues. And like I said, my business partner, Peter, he has been holding that down and making sure we got the dancers ready to come out and teach and learn. Then also we have, like this weekend, I'm going to be in Atlanta for Red Bull.
Nice.
There's another show. We actually have an Apex Pride Festival that we're doing. I'm not going to be here for that, but they're going to handle that. Right. Boom, getting, you know, still being able to share the crew and build on that level. And I have somebody that I can trust on that and be able to make that happen. So I no longer have the anxiety because I have people in place for these, right? The next weekend after that, I'm actually double booked. I have to do rehearsals the day before and then do a performance Saturday. And then after that, I had to catch a flight to Atlanta to judge a battle later on that night.
Damn.
You got me? Yeah. But I'm no longer, I believe in myself. I trust myself. For sure, So I no longer have these anxiety spikes of, oh, this is too much. But also I had last month where I got to rest and recharge. And I fully allow myself to be in that. But also I had to talk to my friend Nathan this weekend. We had some great conversations. Met him in Dallas. What's crazy is because like we met through the community, but we ended up seeing each other in person, and we just hung out the rest of the day. It was crazy. It was a good time. Yeah. Right? He ended up saying, it was a quote from somebody. What's the guy? The guy, the actor that played Woody in Toy Story.
Tom Hanks?
I think it's Tom Hanks, yes.
I think it's Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks was in a podcast where he was saying about, you know, this shall pass. You know, that's a saying that goes around a lot. But it was the way he used it. It was like the different ways of this shall pass. Like such as you saying like the roller coasters, right?
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, you've probably seen it where it's like, you know, you're feeling really good. You just won a competition.
Oh, this shall pass. This too
shall pass, right? Yeah. You're feeling bad. You know, you wasn't able to, you know, do what you needed to do today. This shall pass. Yeah. You know, you getting a new house, you know, buying a new house, this too shall pass. You know what I'm saying? You just destroyed your favorite pair of shoes, this too shall pass. And like those different moments right there is what really, if you bring it into focus, these moments of these highs and lows don't affect you as much. But I do feel like you should live in those moments fully within the moment. But those lows, sometimes we hold on to the lows more than we hold on to the highs.
Yeah, that's true. I've said that before. It's like when like you have all these positive things happening and then you have this one negative thing and we just keep concentrating on that. Yeah.
You know, they say, because I do studies on the mind as well. I try to study as much as I can. And they say that one thing that really affects us with trauma and stuff like that is the fact that we hold on to certain things that just don't serve us. Like, things that hurt us, we hold on to it too much. We repeat it too much in our mind. And when we keep on repeating it to our mind, that's what causes trauma. It's crazy. I mean, I do it too.
Right. Yeah, me too.
But I am working on it.
It's always going to be a work in process.
Right.
Especially like if you've had the trauma in the past and stuff like that. I feel like I don't know, man. I don't know if it's like, if it ever goes away. I think you just have to learn how to deal with it in different areas of your life.
Yeah. And I also
it comes out in different forms, right?
Yeah, it does. Because you feel like it relates to things.
Yeah.
You use it as something to relate to someone else, maybe, because somebody might say something about it, and it just peaks that back in your brain, like, oh, this happened to me. And I think you can really throw it away by just not letting it be who you are, not seeing it as a sense of identity. Because I believe, for myself, in general, I would see it as identity. This happened to me to create this right here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why can't it just be like, I created this? I just created it. You know? And it's really hard because, like I said, as humans, we tend to connect ourselves to different things so that we can kind of like express our growth. But I feel like in some sense, we have to get to a point where we created that next thing from where it was, but eliminate what that thing, really, how that affected you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the trauma when you actually connect it to how it affected you. Right. So it's like, just eliminate the fact that affected you in that way, but just know that you created something greater. That you just created something greater. I created something great from my past, but don't give it a title. I created something great.
Out of the darkness comes
out
light.
Out of the darkness. Let it just be the darkness. Let everything that hurted you was just darkness, or some portion of the darkness. Because I don't think that the darkness is that bad either. No. I've sat in the darkness. I had to learn through it. Yeah. I was the only person in it. You got me? I didn't bring nobody into it with me. And through that, I was able to create light. Yeah. Because you have to learn how to make your own light, right? Yeah. And that's what's so awesome, right? You had to build that. You had to manufacture your light. You had to create your own light from this dark area. Yeah. And I was just talking to my friend before we came up here, and I was saying, you have to share your light because you never know who's in the darkness. Sometimes people need to be inspired. Yeah. To know that there is even light within that space, that you can create it within that space, or that you can walk towards it, right? Yes, like 100%, like that light right there, or that's a sunflower, or is it light? Either way, let's look at it as light. You have to get to it. Yeah. And I like this, the red lines right there, because that shows like frequency. Yeah, it does. Yes. Yeah. So the frequency between these two is what's creating and it's putting them in different directions, right? But it's still coming from one root. And it's amplifying up. And it's amplifying up, and everything rises, everything lifts, everything goes up, right? Yeah. And it comes back down, but it only to come back up again. Right. So it's like that learning from that right there. It's huge. It's huge. And we have to remember that. Like, that's why I say awareness. And I think I saw a quote, it was something from Erykah Badu, and she's just like, without awareness, there's nothing. You won't know love without awareness. Exactly. You won't know how to be positive without awareness. You're
pretty much blind if you don't have awareness.
Like you don't have nothing. Yeah. So that's why I say it's the foundation to freedom.
Now, when it comes to learning how to be aware, I feel like anything that has to do connecting the mind with the body, breakdancing, fighting, yes, anything like that. Even with like when I started acting and stuff like that, I learned this Lee Strasberg method, which is where you sit down in a chair and you do relaxation work for an hour, which is paying attention to where you're holding your tension and then releasing it through movement and sound, and then seeing where it transfers. Oh, now it's over here. and do the same thing for an hour, and then you're just a noodle, but you're so aware of your body that it just builds that awareness. So anything like
feel everything,
you know,
and that's one of the senses, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the senses alone. You know, the smell, you know, taste, seeing, feel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hearing, like all of that. And it plays a major role. And that's,
I guess being aware of all the senses is what's going to create that awareness.
Right. And that's what I also heard in the book, the Rick Rubin, The Creative Act, was like he does meditations, and one of his meditations is like a kind of like big on awareness and just like listening to everything that's around. So if we stay here, close our eyes, we're still going to see light, right? But if we listen close enough, we're going to hear the sounds like there's like an air conditioner or some type of generator that's going, right? Listen close enough, you might hear cars outside. Yeah. You know, and it's just those different, like you might, like my bone just cracked in my hand. You're going to hear this right here, right? So all of those sounds, and if you take time to do that almost every day, you're going to constantly build up your awareness, and you're going to become more alert, and you're going to have more sense of your surroundings. And that's pretty
much what meditation is too.
Right. And that was just a form of it, you know. So there's every breakdown of meditation is to become more, you know, in tune with your inner self, but also there's some that are more of a breakdown of what's going on around, because in his sense it's like, you know, with source giving you energy, you have to have more sense of what's going on around you as well to receive it. Yeah. You know. And it could be as simple as me looking up and seeing a bird, and I'm like, oh, I'm inspired. You know, I'm going to fly today. Right. You know, and simple stuff like that. Yeah. Right. I saw some birds in Dallas that I never seen here. You know, and it was just like the regular walk around birds. You know, like, you know, you got I kind of remind me of Pokemon. I'm like, yeah, this is their type of bird that we have here, and we have our Pidgey. You know, and they have their like Crowy or something like that, because it looked like a little crow. And I'm like, y'all got miniature crows out here when we got these like miniature looking pigeons or little baby birds. I didn't see none of those. Just these little crow looking birds walking around, which is crazy. And it probably, you know, it definitely has a specific name, but it was just cool to see that and everything, you know, from the lifestyle and everything. So it's like, it's really dope.
Yeah, so, birds and trees and plants.
Birds are amazing.
Man, that's my roots right there.
Yeah, birds are.
I found out that I was like, my spirit animal was an owl.
Oh, that's dope.
Through the DMT.
I actually just seen an owl. Yeah. Well, it was about a month ago, but I was skating and I saw one. It was just chilling. It was beautiful. Yeah. I took some nice pictures of it and everything. This phone right here is like one of the best phones on this earth right now. It's a Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, and I can literally be right here, and if like we was really high up, I can like zoom in. Like there's been people that like you did videos of it and stuff like that, but man, that camera's so good, and it will focus in, and you can see what that person may have on, logos and stuff like that. I'm like, wow.
Did you try it with the moon?
I've gotten a few pictures with the moon. Yeah, a few good ones. Like my hotel, I was at Fairmont, Dallas, which was a really nice hotel, and before going to bed, I like to just look out the windows and stuff like that, just see the sky and stuff like that. And I was up on like the 10th floor, and across from me, the moon was like kind of just directed straight to me, and it just got to the point where it was like right above the building that was right right by me, and I took a picture from far distance. Zoomed in, and it was just like right there on top of the building, like it was just sitting in a bowl or something like that, which is really cool. And that's like the artist side of me, like everything is art to me. So it was really cool. I love the moon.
I love the like when I went down to the Amazon, I spent 2 weeks there, and when it's a clear sky at nighttime, holy shit, dude!
Everything up there,
the
right?
The sky is amazing, and you know I got to experience I saw 6 UFOs. While I was down there, but ever since that experience, man, I just keep looking at the sky and just like, and I've been skydiving twice. You know?
Okay, so, like, that's dope.
I also just like kind of like imagine that feeling of being in the sky. And stuff like that.
You actually do have that awareness of what it's like to be in the sky. So that's cool. I still need to do that soon.
You do. Yeah. I'll do it with you if you want. It'll be my 3rd time. You know what I want to do is like skydive in every country that I go to. That'd be nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
risky, but
it's risky, man. It's like, I'm gonna take a chance today. I'm gonna take a chance tomorrow. But every day is a chance, right? Every day is taking a chance, right? Taking a step, a foot, taking a step into faith. You know, of what you believe that is not seen.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and the hardest part about skydiving is just the jump.
I bet. I mean, because once you're out of there, you gone.
Yeah.
You know,
and you're not doing it yourself. You're like someone's doing it for you.
Right.
So it's a little bit easier. But it's one of the most exhilarating things that you'll probably ever do.
Right.
If you do it.
I bet. Yeah. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it at some point. I know for a fact I will. Maybe 31 is it.
Just let me know.
I like to really just kind of like, I'm a big stamp type guy, like put like timestamps on certain things. Though I still am free, but like I like to timestamp so I can like really feel like, this year I did this. Yeah. This year I did that. So
the big ones, right?
Yeah. So like that'll be a timestamp for 31 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna make that happen.
Speaking of, I know we talked about goals and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I said goals, but then as soon as I said that, I was like, I don't really like to use goals. I don't like to use the word goals because it keeps it in the future. So I like to say intention. My intention.
Intention, right? Yeah, I'm big on intentions, objectives.
Yeah.
Like objectives would be like, because objective could be done now. Like, I want to change up something that I'm doing, right now. Mm-hmm. Goals, I do feel like are like,
they're in the future.
Like it's out there. Like you got to catch it, or you might achieve it like out of nowhere. You never know. Right. But I'm big on intentions. Like I'm like today I said, set your positive intentions. Mm-hmm. It's time for your best week, right. And that's a daily thing. Yeah. That's a daily thing. I might not say that every day, but it's a daily thing. Right. And it's intentions. Or when I say daily, it's not just like for the whole day. It's literally 24/7, a constant act. Your intentions will truly prove who you are and show who you are as a person right now. Who are you? I am my intentions.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know you were talking about, I don't want to feel like I'm showing off or something like that. But I think that just has to do with where are your intentions. Right. And
so yeah, if you feel like that, that's because it's somewhere in your mind you had the intentions of showing off. Mm-hmm. Why would it reflect like that? Why would you even question that if you have not thought of that at some point? Right. You got me? Mm-hmm. Why are you reflecting what you think that other people think? Because it's already within you. So that, right, for me, showing off is not a part. Like if I say I'm showing off, I'm showing off. That's just what it is. Yeah. But I'm not going to question and say I don't want to do that because I don't want people to feel like that. Exactly. When I already know how I feel about myself. Yeah. You got me? And that's like that trauma thing that I was saying. Like that's stuff that people have to heal because you can constantly reflect this over and over and over again. Like why are you reflecting that? Now you causing yourself to think a certain way. And these are certain tools that I learned from books, but also I want to say, like, for anybody that listens to this, is that therapy, like, they definitely hook you up with tools to, like, really dissect whatever issues you may have. Simply just from talking in general. Yeah. I appreciate you. This is therapy right here at all times. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Give me a little dap real quick, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure we establish that connection, like, just being able to talk. I don't always get a chance to talk to people on this high level. Same. This is high level, conversation, because this is not conversation at surface level. This is, taking it to the, yes. And we have to either allow ourselves to get to that point, open ourselves up for that, or keep ourselves closed off. And I'd rather not close myself off to that because I never know what I might gain from you or gain from just letting this all out, because as I let it out, guess what I'm getting? I'm getting more. It's actually coming in as I'm letting it out. So everything that I'm gaining right now is from source. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like a relief also as well. At all times. So, and then, I might go back to that hibernation a little bit later, but still I was able to release so that I can gain. So it's like create space to create more. Everything in life is a choice. It is 100%. It's a choice. You could do this or that. Some people say like, oh, I don't have a choice. I have to work this job. I was like, well, that's a choice. It's either that or be homeless. Right. Right. Work. And it's even like you can still create that freedom out of that. Like you don't, when people get caught up in this mindset of feeling like they have to do something, they have to do it on that level, that's when they really just block themselves. Yeah. They're slamming their own door in their face. Yeah. They're taking the door and go, wham. Wham, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna just take this. Wham! Every time they say it, they say that same phrase again. I can't do this. I ain't got no choice. Wham! Yeah. when are you gonna stop hurting yourself?
Right.
When are you gonna stop?
Sometimes you have to go deep and you have to hurt yourself. You have to break yourself down to the point of nothing.
So
in order to go back up.
Right. Sometimes it takes that. I can't take this no more. Mm-hmm. You know, it has to get to that point for a lot of people. But once you like, this is where the awareness comes back in. Once you are aware that that's what is your breaking point, or you have had breaking points like that, you learn to do it before that even happens. Mm-hmm. That's where I've gotten to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm good at really being like, shut down, no more. I don't need to do this. When I was eating, when I decided to switch to a plant-based lifestyle, right? Cold turkey. Boom. I did it. And I went along to learn the things that I need to learn, do what I need to do. Mm-hmm. I'm actually getting ready to do another one. I actually struggled with it this past weekend because I was just having a good time. But I'm about to take drinking out of my life.
Like alcohol?
Yes.
Gotcha.
It's poison going into your body. Like,
it is, yeah.
You know, like, why do I need to keep putting poison
nothing
in my
healthy
body?
about it.
Right. It's nothing healthy. And I do want to continue the lifestyle of living healthy and staying fresh. Right. So that's what I want to do. Yeah. And I will take it out definitely going into my birthday for sure. I'm going to officially take it out. Give me a mocktail. Give me some juice or something like that. Even sometimes concentrated juice is just not good for our body because it's too much sugar. Right. But it's like still at the same time, I'd rather rock out on that. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't need to throw alcohol in my body. I'm already, to have fun, I already feel like I got a natural high. So I could just be somewhere having a great time. I will dance all night no matter what. I'm hearing some good music, you know, and I'm vibing with the people that's around me. By the way, I like to jump into vibe, man. So you know how like everybody says vibe is literally vibration. Yeah. So it's like we just shorten it, and a lot of times we shorten a lot of words that we use, and
then we forget the meaning of it.
Yeah,
right?
Forget the meaning. So I just want to definitely say vibrations. I feel the vibrations of others because everything has a vibration.
It does.
Everything. So
Absolutely.
We have to remember that.
Yeah. Speaking of, you know, breaking it down, you have to break yourself down in order to get back up and stuff like that. Like, when I was, you know, I changed my life when I was 24, but I was so negative to the point where like I wouldn't go out of my house. I would go to work, my house, and work out, and that's it. But like I would look out my blinders and just like be scared of the world completely. And I lost my friends from that too. So I was completely alone. And then, like you said, I just had that moment where I was like, enough is enough. I got to change.
100%.
And so I had to move locations completely and just start over. And that's where I met my friend that helped me out with learning how to communicate.
Right.
So
and that's where it goes. Like it was all a reflection of what was in you.
Yeah.
You know, that negative was what you end up seeing in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I am aware that there is positives and negatives, but I'm also getting to this point where I no longer see them. Like I'm not judging them. Nothing's good. Nothing's negative.
The judgment is a big one.
Yeah, because judgment is really what kind of like creates this disconnect with a lot of things. And I wish I want to really connect with things, you know, even if it's bad, like it's bad to a certain extent. Like I'm not definitely like, yo, that's bad. But I just want to understand, because through that understanding, I'm able to recreate like greater, you know, or better things. It's like, oh, okay, I understand why they kind of move like that. Let's try not to move like that, but also, you know, maybe dissect and use an element within there to be able to share in a better way.
Yeah, that's why I got into acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like, you know, you study all these different characters and you're comparing it to your life. That's the initial thought of why I got into acting.
And there's, I'm like I said, I'm big on dissecting. So dissecting down to like its simplest form, you can find so much within it. You know, you can understand more of what that was really created for at the end of the day. You know,
the skeleton.
You break it down to okay, wow, I can use this for this. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense now. So let me try to use this within what I'm doing and creating a whole new process and change how people view it, change how people see it. That's art daily. Right. You know, sharing within what you got, but I do it through the studies of what I do. So yeah, so we are never the same at any moment of the day. Yeah. Like things change. Me understanding that people can change like that helped me view the world in a different way, view life in a different way.
Yeah.
People can change just like that. And you know what that change can come from? Just from how you view things. So the fact that you changes how people, so the way that the fact that you change daily makes it where you see people differently. And it shows that they change as well. So it's like somebody could be loving one day, right? And it's through the fact that you're feeling very loving. And then say your love changes within. It looks different looking the outside too. Like they might look so different. Like their love might come off way different now. It's like, wait, how did that change so quickly? And we get confused. We're like, as humans, we're like, huh? Why is this different? But it's only because you changed within yourself now.
Yeah. And that's how you change the world.
And that's how you change the world. Through that simple shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? We change the world like that. And when we have an awareness of the fact that we can change the world like that, it's yours. Yeah. It's all yours in here.
Yep.
It doesn't happen like this all the time. But it can happen like that with simple like tools, simple ways of looking at it. You know, simple as writing it down. That can shift your whole paradigm within 1 second. You can decide, I want to look at things like this. Shift your paradigm.
That's it.
Create anything you want. I want to go here. Go there. Don't tell, man, I'm waiting to, you know, I had somebody say they was just waiting to like do something till later. And I'm like, why are you waiting? Do it this weekend.
Right.
Do it, you know, don't even wait till the weekend. Do it this week. Communicate. Talk to somebody. Say, hey, look, I want to do this week.
Yeah. Even if it's a baby step, right?
Yeah. The baby stuff, you like that's how you get to those big, because those baby things that like I said, your perception of what may be baby for me,
right,
that might be huge. You got me? So that's the baby stuff, right? And we never know how that is. You know, even when it comes to the baby stuff that you may perceive as being baby, do that. The work is still there. The work is needed everywhere.
Yep. Exactly.
That's
it's
how
a never-ending thing, right?
That's how I feel, man. Like I don't know. I'm grateful, man. I can't help but to express gratitude for the knowledge that I gained, man.
Right. I mean, I see it, dude. I see it every single time that especially when you're breakdancing, like, dude, your energy goes for miles. Like it's like an antenna. It's just like, oh fuck, and it like pulls you in too.
Yeah.
You know?
I appreciate that.
Do you like? I know with breakdancing, there's a lot of hype. You know, there's like and all that stuff. Did you have to learn how to do that, or did that just come natural to you?
So coming up and breaking, I was already performing. I was performing. So performing became a main thing of like learning how to smile and share that. Now, when you say hype, are you saying hype from within myself or hype from the crowd?
I would say both.
Okay, so there's a big difference for me, right? Because this is where I had to learn was, all right, so I used to have people that come around and would be, you know, kind of like people that motivated me to break even harder. After a while, I started not having that. So I had to learn how to gain it for myself. So I would be in places battling this stuff and would not get any type of hype. Nobody would care. I would feel within myself that nobody would care.
Yeah.
So I would just kind of create it within myself. And the moves that I did were some of them, some people say it's so simple, I don't know why I didn't think of it. So those simple moves, I made them hyper. I made them big. I made them giant.
Yeah.
You know.
And with that energy kind of spreads it through the crowd.
Yes, into the crowd. So now that the crowd is seeing it and they're believing it and I'm showing it with like my confidence of when I get done with the move, I'm like, and then I go into the next thing. It's like I add that character to it. Now, I don't need the crowd. I truly don't. I am the crowd. I am every person that's in that crowd at any time. So whenever I dance, I'm able to project that energy no matter what. And that's what I infuse into what I do.
Yeah. I feel like it's those little things that make it that much bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But I do reflect off the people that's in the crowd. So say, like I said, I'm able to talk through my dance. So I would look at somebody, bounce the energy off them back to me, share it in here. I'm really good at it, man. I will smile at somebody like, run over there, but I don't even have to interact with them. I just do it and let them know that I see them, and then get back to what I do.
Right.
You know, and I play off of charisma a lot, so that's my charisma. You know, I do something with my hat where my hat may fall off. I grab my hat and pick it up. You know what I'm saying? Like check and we'll see what's in it, or I might take something and throw it in it and be like, you know, and then go back into it. So that's the characters that I see.
Right.
That's the imagination that I have, and I grab the imagination from the people that surround me. You got me? So, and I also let them see that this is my world. Once I'm on that floor, that's my world.
Yeah, I see that.
It's nobody else's but mine. Like, you're either gonna watch it as if you're watching a TV screen and seeing what's happening and what's being manipulated and what's being created from like the falls that I do. I do a lot. Like, I do figure my style, no sense being kind of comedic. You know, from the bounce off the head, from the head slide, from the little fall thing that I do when I look up and I'm looking around like that. Like, it's comedic.
Right.
You're gonna enjoy it. I might do something where I trip and fall, but I do it on a sense of like anything can be transmuted into a movement. And I always tell people, I was like, create. Stop allowing yourself to get caught up in the box. Those games that you enjoy, those shows that you watch, create movement from it. And after that, that muscle that you created is going to become you, and you can do anything that you want to do with it.
Yeah. Do you sometimes look at people just like randomly and like, oh, he has a specific walk, or something like that?
I love that.
I was like, ooh, I'm gonna use that real quick.
Yes, I get inspired off of that a lot. I love movement. I love movement, and I love how people look at things. So I'm always questioning people. I'm like, hey, when you hear this song, what do you think about? Because it might be a song that just got, and I'm looking at them like, you know, I might come in there like a little swag, like a little smooth. Okay,
Inspector Gadget.
You know. So, and I'm like thinking of like, you know, I'm like moving around like that, right? But this person might see it different. They might see it as like they have to maybe sneak in there. You know what I'm saying? Or they might see it as, oh, I'm just funky. I'm coming in there, I'm locking. You know what I'm saying? Like that, right? And it's just that understanding of everybody looking at the world so differently inspires me. So I'm an explorer of worlds too. Though
you have to be, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Though I created this world, I still explore other worlds because you have a whole other universe within you that I have not experienced. And through that, I say gratitude. I'm thankful. I don't necessarily have to experience your world to enjoy my world.
Right.
But
it's fun.
It's fun. You know, that's where the joy is. Yeah. It's fun. I'm like, okay, you know, if you allow me to, I'm going to ask you and find out what you might maybe experiencing in your world. Yeah. Therefore, I can possibly mix it into mine and create a whole new world.
Yeah.
You know?
Infinite worlds, man.
Infinite, man. Everything is infinite.
Yeah.
Everything. I want everybody to see that. That's why I smile every day. That's why I enjoy what I do on a daily basis. That's why my heart is the way it is, because I know that.
Right.
I would be, how would I say it? I would say my chances are void if I didn't share the way I shared. My chances of happiness for myself is void.
Yeah. You wouldn't be as high level as you are right now either.
I wouldn't.
Winning those competitions and everything like that.
If I didn't share.
Right.
I have to. All of this is a part of the process of constantly, you know, reaching for the highest self. Yeah. So, yeah. And this is my highest self. This ain't yours. Right. This ain't nobody else's but mine's. So I'm not saying that it's better than anybody's. It's just mine's.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're your true self.
At the end of the day.
You're an explorer, man. I like that.
Yeah, I've actually kind of gained that now from this conversation. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, so it kind of hit me like, yo, I'm actually an explorer. Yeah, I am. You are. Yeah, it's dope. I'm gonna have to like really understand and really kind of gain more awareness on it. I'm gonna have to meditate on it soon. So.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you,
It's
man.
been good, man.
Thank you. Yes, I figured we went into a different route with it.
Yeah.
But like I said, uncertainty.
I was excited about this one, man, because like I mean, I feel like we would have some deep conversations and stuff like that, and I look forward to those.
We dug, and I gained a lot from this one, so I really got it. Like I said, I got to really understand this whole explorer thing, because I didn't know. Yeah. So it's just kind of really hit my awareness. I think I said it one time, and then I was just like, after you brought it back up again, I was like, okay, Yeah, no, that's a real thing right there.
Yeah,
that's actually real.
I envisioned it.
Yeah,
you know, I just envisioned you just traveling worlds between humans, between physically traveling,
world,
and everything, man. Just your connection to the world is to travel.
Yes,
as an explorer.
That's actually I recently had, like, that's why I said with my higher self, I'm working on not drinking anymore, because I believe my higher self is actually, I see myself in planes. I see myself going to different countries.
Yeah.
I see myself being out there and actually being with the people and talking and trying different things.
Yeah.
So that's why I will get to that point.
Yeah.
And I see it already, and I'm already doing it now. So it's like I'm just going to constantly align myself with it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll have any trouble.
Just gonna keep on pushing, man. At the end of the day, we gotta keep on walking the walk, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, talk the talk and walk the walk. That's all I know. So gonna keep on doing it.
Respect your pace.
And I believe respect, right? And I also believe that can't is not a word. I also want to throw that in there. I didn't get a chance to say anything about it, but my dad always told me that can't is not a word, and I think that's one of the forefronts of like things that was instilled in me that helped me to be who I am right now.
Yeah,
can't is not a word.
That's good, man.
Even though I made, you're going to make mistakes along the way, and you can say, I can't, but can't is not a word. And I need everybody to understand that.
I remember when I was doing the Lee Strasberg.
Yes.
Like when you do that kind of thing, you have muscle memory.
Right.
And if you have a breaking point, you could release that trauma and it would come out in tears and all that stuff.
Yes.
So it took me a year to break the trauma through the Lee Strasberg technique. And when it happened, I was like right here, and she's like, look at me. And I was like, I can't look at you. And she's like, as an actor, you're going to have to look at your partner. And I was like, all right. So I looked at her, and I just started bawling. And then she came up and like held me. And then she said that her dog came up to me and like put his head on my lap and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And there's just a bunch of love right there with releasing that trauma.
Yeah. Love, like that. Man.
Yeah.
Love. That's huge.
Yeah, man.
Love is needed.
Yep.
At all times.
That's so cute.
They said goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hey, I love that we ended off with love.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's a sign right there, man.
Yeah, and I appreciate that,
That's
man.
funny. All right. That's it, dude. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a great way to start the Monday, bro.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Monday is already starting off great.